I'm here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Alexander, let's revisit the story we did on the OPCW and the House of Commons presentation that you attended, which covered the OPCW deception, I would say, in my opinion, deception as to what happened in Douma and the alleged chemical attack that took place in Douma, and where you were a witness to the real facts or the evidence that points to the truth as to what happened on that day when there was an alleged chemical attack in Douma and almost pushed the United States into war with Syria and Russia. You have an update. What's the update?
Well, actually, there's been several things, but let's start with the first one, which is that I was contacted. I heard from one of the scientists who was at that presentation. And I've also heard, incidentally, updates from various other scientists, including one who was not at that presentation and has, in fact, not been involved in it. Anyway, the first thing to say is that not a single person that I've heard from is disputing the underlying conclusion that there was no chlorine attack. And in fact, one person has contacted me and has given further reasons for concluding that it cannot have been chlorine. And that's a scientist has told me this. So this is the official view, that there was a chlorine attack. As I understand it, his point is that if there had been chlorine, there would have been chlorine traces in the building. That where the attack was centered, and the fact that none were found there makes it inconceivable, or very, very, very inconceivable, that it could have been chlorine. And what I've heard, however, also, and this is from one of the scientists who spoke at the presentation, is that though it is still the view, I mean, in fact, also, it is absolutely the view that the victims that were shown in the photographs were killed in a gas chamber. It would not have been sarin, as I thought when we did the video before. It must have been some other agent, because if it had been sarin, that would have left some trace where the bodies were found, or were not found, where they were placed. So it can't have been sarin. It can't have been chlorine. That opens the question of what it was. And I should say, again, we've had a number of suggestions, including one specifically from one scientist who has suggested a particular substance. Before we discuss what that is, I want to forward that theory to the other scientists, and maybe they can reach a view, or at least discuss what they think about that particular theory. But two things to say about this. Firstly, we welcome feedback from as many people as possible about this, particularly scientists and technical people. If the more debate and discussion about this subject that there is, the better, and so that we can, publicize fully the reality of what happened in Douma and what didn't happen in Douma, which the OPCW is trying to suppress. The second thing I wanted to say is that you may remember from our previous video that we referred to a report of that meeting. We have now provided a link to that report on our site. We made a decision not to show the report itself because some of the photographs that appear in the report are very harrowing and disturbing. But if you want to read what was actually said, get a sense of what was actually said, and have an accurate record, then you can find the link. The video also, we've attached to the link to the video, so you can get a clear picture of what was said there.
In the description box.
In the description box. The third thing I wanted to say is that I am now hearing, and this is from a very reliable source, that the OPCW is struggling to come up with some kind of a response, and there's been a great deal of internal debate about all of this within the OPCW, with a great deal of dissension between, if you like, the more political appointees and the scientific and technical staff. They're struggling to come up with a response. There is some talk that they may do so very soon, but there is no real apparently agreement about it, and there is talk that that dissension is spreading. And then the very last thing I wanted to say is that a viewer who is well known to me, contacted me after our last video and was able to do certain investigations on our behalf with various people in the media. He's established that there is no actual D notice, that is a formal order from the government not to cover this story. But I have since heard that there has been a great deal of discussion about it, and there is an awful lot more discussion apparently going on both within Whitehall and in the media than we are in fact being told about. So this is one of those stories that is bubbling under the surface, with the media fully aware apparently of what's happening. They too, having invested so heavily in this report that there was a chemical attack in Douma, are struggling to know quite how to respond to a story that is going completely against what their own orthodoxies say. So overall, you know, this is a debate, a discussion which is growing, it's spreading, it's a wildfire, if you like, that the authorities are struggling to contain. And by giving us feedback and circulating this story, you are actually assisting in that debate and spreading the news.
All right, 3 points to wrap it up, Alexander, which you can comment on. The first point is, I think, the main point of the discovery that you are a part of. Bodies were moved from one location where they were executed, execution style, gas chamber execution style. We don't know the gas, like you say, or the chemical agent. They were executed and then moved into position. That's the main point. They were moved into position, photographed, videoed in order to have that effect when they go onto social media and to all the mainstream media news channels, so that they could push the Trump White House, UK, France into war with Syria and, in effect, Russia. That's the main point. You're just saying we don't know what
was the poison, but but that is still the most plausible. That is the explanation.
But that's the most disturbing part of all.
And that is the most disturbing part of it. What it seems, I mean, the theory, and you can read about it, as I said in this report, that some kind of chamber was brought to the location, close to the location where the bodies were found. The people were poisoned in this chamber, and their bodies were laid out there. And you know, the clear view that I've heard is that the impression, I think, that, you know, most people think they were trying to create was of a sarin attack, but it wasn't actually sarin that poisoned these people. It wasn't chlorine. It wasn't sarin. It would have been something else. We don't yet know what. We are.
A hint.
Well, I've heard. Right. You know, we've had.
We'll do that in another video.
But that's something. You know, let's see what other people say first.
Right. Okay.
Before
that's a huge revelation.
Can I also say it is a huge revelation? Can I also say that if it is this other substance, which, you know, it may also explain certain of the things that happened in certain of the other incidents. But, you know, until I know more, I'm not going to start talking. Okay. You know, given, as I said, that I'd like to hear what other people have to say about it.
Okay, great. So that's my first point, and that's a huge point. And going off of that point, everyone that's watching this video, wherever you're located, what comes to mind for me is in the US, Tucker Carlson. In the UK, you've mentioned some media personalities that are trying to cover this story and to get this story out. People in Canada, in Australia, anywhere you are in the world, share this story. Try to get it in front of people, because these are huge revelations that almost push the world to war. And we see a massive cover up via the OPCW, and not many people are reporting it. So,
and there is an internal debate within the OPCW itself about this. There are very hardliners who want to double down and issue, you know, apparently, you know, continue with this line that they've been taking up to now. But there's also a lot of resistance within the OPCW itself. So we want to keep the story alive in order to assist those dissident voices in the OPCW, because if there is no debate about this in the open, then the pressure will grow on those OPCW dissident voices to shut up. So the more debate there is, the more discussion there is, the more feedback we get, the better it is for everyone.
Right. And a viewer sent me an email and said, look, you could hear the links for Tucker Carlson to get to in front of his producers, where you can share the video. So that's just an example as to how people that are viewing this video can help out. There are sympathetic, open-minded voices in mainstream media. They're very few, but they are in every country. So people that are watching this, get this video out. And my final point, Alexander, Assange is still in prison. Things look better for him, but he's directly connected to the story via WikiLeaks, which broke the OPCW lies. So I just want to mention that. And
you're quite right to mention it, because of course that's the other thing. I've been I should explain, I've been actually very heavily plugged into all the things that are going on with the Assange affair, and the overlap is really quite astonishing. And it's fascinating to see how much of the same things are involved in this and in the Assange case. The Assange case, let's remember, is all about governments trying to control information. The OPCW scandal is about governments trying to control information. In both cases, it's war crimes that are at the base of both stories. So, given that both the prosecution of Assange and the OPCW, a scandal, is strengthening dissident voices and making more and more people come out and protest and speak out about these things, well, it is important that as many of us as can do so as well. So, just to say that, I mean, because I've been to some very interesting meetings over the Assange affair, and the parallels are remarkable.
Okay, Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much, guys. If you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below, click on the notifications bell, and smash that like button. Also, donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar. Your donation really, really helps out this channel. And also go to the Duran shop and pick up some merchandise, magic mugs, magic shirts, which also help out this channel.
Indeed, sir. And as you can see, this particular mug is my oldest, with a double-headed eagle of the Duran on it. The Duran, the double-headed eagle being the double-headed eagle that hovers over the world and spies out all the things that are happening. And it is this is my oldest mug. It's the one I use most. It is a sign of its intrinsically very high quality, that there isn't a single chip, crack, flake on it anywhere. It is literally as it was when I first had it. So all our mugs are of the same quality. They're beautifully made from really strong, light porcelain. They have this beautiful gloss and smoothness, and they keep your tea or coffee really warm, or your beer really cold if you like to drink beer from it, which you're welcome to do. And of course, it isn't just our magic mugs, which are of extraordinarily high quality. We made a decision when we decided to open our shop to go for high quality merchandise as a sign of our respect to our viewers. You will find all our shirts are 100% cotton. They are beautifully made. They're extremely long lasting and very hard wearing. They come in many shapes and forms and sizes to suit everybody's needs and tastes. This one, which I'm wearing now, is long sleeved because it's a cold February day in London, but you find short-sleeved t-shirts, you find really smart and elegant polo shirts, you'll find V-neck shirts, you'll find hats, hoodies, and stickers, and you support us at the Duran by going to our shop and buying these things, and also you are the proud owner of these things when you go and buy them from our shop. So don't hold back, come to our shop, support the Duran, be the owner of these wonderful things, and Alex will tell you how.
You'll find the link for the Duran shop down below, theduranshop.com. Alexander Mercouris, thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, take care.